Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Shark Gaming's Hero of the Storm's new player guides. And in this guide we're going to be talking about the main objectives, the basic objectives that you will see common across most if not all of the maps. The first thing we're going to talk about is lanes. If you look down here on the mini map, you will see what looks like three different roads, and these roads are where your minions will travel down to fight it out to the death, as well as you can see there on the minimap, you can see the tower structures protecting each lane. So when anyone ever puts into the chat, please go to lane, that's what they're talking about. They want you to come into one of these lanes because they want you to soak experience. And now let's talk about that. Soaking experience is when you are nearby a minion death. So anytime one of these minions die, they provide experience to your team if you're near enough to the death. So soaking experience means simply coming into a lane and either killing or watching these minions die, with the objective of pushing them into the enemy tower so that you can basically destroy these structures. We'll get to that here in a minute. There are a couple things to remember while you are in the laning phase, which typically ends around 7 to 8, as you'll be more focused on the map objectives. As you can see, perfect timing, one just popped up here, as well as trying to really push down at least one lane worth of towers, as just happened right here. So you can see they grouped up a little bit earlier than normal to do that and push that down. And again, we'll come back to that here in a second. Now, during the laning phase, you want to be careful with what's considered overextending. Now, this is especially important when there's a stealth hero on your team. Now, when you can't not see a hero at all on your mini map, you really want to be careful with a couple things. One, you do not want to get too far away from the rest of from your base or from the rest of your team, because of what is called a gank, where someone comes in, typically will flank you and basically cause your death. Now, since these are bots, they have impeccable timing, so it does not matter what I do. They are going to, as soon as I show up, they're going to immediately turn around and basically rape my face. So, but these particular people are extremely overextended. So they are these would be considered extremely overextended, and in a non-bot game where they're not cheaters, it is very likely that your team would have rotated down and flanked them to get probably 2, maybe 3 kills out of that right there. So that's overextending. Keep that in mind. You want to be very careful. Overextending is anytime you are past this midway point right here. That is considered overextended, and it's very important when there's a stealth enemy on their team, because you may not be focusing enough to see a stealth unit to be able to be able to get away enough. So again, this is a bot game, so they're cheaters, so it's not exactly the same. A non-bot game would not be going like, well, I don't want to say not. It's very possible that a non-bot game could very well go like this, but with higher MMRs, it's very, very unlikely. So let us talk about grouping, because at this point in time, we should very well be grouping for map objectives. We should be grouping to push this down. Like, these guys are easy kills, you cheating asshole. These guys would be very easy kills if we had grouped up and simply rotated over to kill them. Simple as that. However, there are a couple things to consider. They are level 11 versus our our level being 8, and that's mostly because I've been roaming around talking to you guys rather than focusing on playing the game, which means the enemy team should be, since they have an advantage, should be very much grouped and pushing us down as hard as they can, because we can't stop them because we don't have ultimates. So those are a couple things to keep in mind during the laning phase, which is typically between levels 1 and 10. Once you hit level 10, very little reason to continue laning unless you're extremely far behind the enemy team. And I mean by 2 or more levels. If you're behind 2 or more levels, you want to be continue laning to catch up. Other things to keep in mind: a single wave of minions is worth 400 experience. The first kill in the game, which often happens very early in the game, is only worth 308. So keep that in mind. Kills are not always necessary, especially in the early game. Let's see if I can grab this real quick while they're all up here. Now let's go ahead and go over the map objectives, since my team hasn't been doing anything at all as far as objectives. Each lane is going to have several objectives within it. So the first thing are these cannon towers. As you can see, they give you 400 experience each. So there are 3 per. This is, I guess, according to the wiki, this is considered a fort. This grouping of buildings right here. So each one of these is worth 400 points. So there's 3, 6, 9, and just in the first tier, then there's a second tier. So keep that in mind. Grabbing an early tower will really help boost your team up. Same thing with forts. Forts provide you 800 experience as opposed to 400 experience. So these are very worth grabbing as early as possible, and keep in mind the way you win the game is by killing the core. This is right here is the enemy core. Over here is our core. That's how you win the game. Now, to win the game, you have to destroy one full lane to be able to get to the core and actually damage it. So what's all in these groupings right here? So we have 2 cannons, which we already talked about. They will attack your minions. They have 20 shots within each one, and they do significant damage in the early game. So be very careful when it comes to being in lane and overextending, because if you get too close to the tower, it will shoot you and it will do significant damage. In fact, if you get caught out, the tower will very well kill you. They do replenish their ammo, but very slowly. So if you can run them out, it will be much easier to take them down. And as you can see, the tier 2 cannon towers there were worth a little bit more. They're worth 650. That's to help push the game forward. But they function the exact same way as the tier 1 towers. The forts, again, they're worth 800 experience, and they have 40 shots instead of 20. But they have something special about them that you want to keep in mind, and that is, as you can see, I got hit by the fort tower and I am now slowed. That affects both your movement and your basic attack speed. So if you're trying to take out a fort quickly, you do not want to be the one tanking the tower. You want to make sure your minions are taking the tower damage so that you can attack as fast as you possibly can. That will help you take out the tower faster, as opposed to you tanking the shots yourself. Basically, think of them as ice bolts, more or less. Other things, other structures in each of one of these forts. You have your walls. Whenever they don't provide you with any experience, however, they do block vision, as well as your own walls provide you vision. So whenever, even if these towers are gone, if someone walks right here, and they're standing behind this wall, you can see them because this wall is giving you that additional vision. So destroying this wall would actually give me more vision because I can see past it now, while removing vision from the enemy team. As you can see, this opened up right here. Same thing if I did that over here. Go away, minion. I don't want you. So as you can see there, that provides you with more vision while reducing the vision that the enemy team has. Please defend. I'm not done talking. Next you have, for most of you, some of you may not be aware, is called the healing well. It's this structure right here. By clicking on it, it will give you a buff, which you will see. You'll be able to see it over in this area. Let me take some damage here. I have any more? Yes, we do. I'm gonna go take some damage so I can show you what it actually does. It provides you with healing over time, as well as mana. And this will, let's come right here. I'm just gonna, oh, that's not there anymore. Okay, so don't watch this. I'm just gonna do this to take some damage. And there we go. Okay, so I'm done with that. Now, as you can see, I'm just a little bit under half health. I am regenerating health right now, but not very fast. I haven't been really... I picked up this talent, which increases your health regeneration, but I haven't really been doing anything with that. But as you can see, when I clicked the well, gave it a 100-second cooldown and provided me this heal over time. It's not a very strong heal over time, so you can still die while you're healing, but it helps you sustain longer, so you don't have to back to the base to get health continuously over and over and over and over. Let's see here. Other things, other structures, I believe, nope, that's all the structures. The healing well does not provide any experience, but by taking it out, it is a strategic move because it's going to force the enemy back farther into the lane. If you take this out, they have to go to the next tier. So as you can see, let's look right here. This well is gone, so they have to go to this next tier, which is right here. And if this one is destroyed, they either, let's say all three of these wells are destroyed, they are forced to go back to the base to heal. So they have no choice but to do that. So it's a strategic target, even though it provides you no health or no experience gain. So let's talk about, maybe I shouldn't have put the AI on experienced, because they are just taking my team to town because they won't play the objective, basically. And all I want them to do is let me talk. Last long enough to talk. I'm almost done though, so let's move right over here. We're going to start talking about the camps that you're going to see throughout the game. Here you see the bruiser camps. 1, 2. There will always be 2 in the... I'm sorry, not the bruiser camp. These are the siege giants camps. There's always 2 of them. They're easy to take. Most heroes can take them by themselves. I would suggest you testing your heroes to see which heroes can and cannot take these by themselves. But what they do essentially is they will walk into the nearest lane and they will start throwing rocks around. Here, let's take one. They'll throw rocks around so that you can destroy a objective without actually having to be in the lane. Now, they're easy to take out, so if the enemy team comes over and cleans this out, it's not going to take them long to destroy this. But after you capture them, you see they'll walk to the nearest lane, they'll attack the nearest target. So let's see here. I see a Jaina. That Jaina's dead. Well done, thank you. Now let me get some health real quick, and then we'll go over to the next one. So you'll see these guys, they're probably, yeah, it looks like they're already dead, so they're really easy to kill, but they will come and push a lane, and they are considered widely to be far stronger than the next camp I'm about to show you, because they will actually stand, oh hey, there's one left. He will stand out of range stand out of the range of a tower, and it'll attack it, outranging the tower, so it can actually attack forever as long as it's not pushed away by either the enemy minions or the enemy team coming over to clear them out by themselves. So let's come over here. They are pushing down this lane real quick. So here is the next set of minion camps. It is the Bruiser or Knight camp, and it is a lot more difficult to take out than the Bruisers. Most heroes are actually not capable of taking this by themselves, and on top of that, they will not do anywhere near as much damage as the siege giants could do. And the reason why is because there's only one ranged character. He's right there. There he goes. And the rest of them are melee, so they will actually come in and just tank all the damage. They will sit here and take every single bit of damage thrown at them, and they will go down fairly easy and not really get pushed into the game or into the lane very far before they get cleaned out by the enemy team. So keep that in mind. They are not as strategic of a... Just stand there. They're not as strategic of a pickup as the siege giants are. Now the last camp, well, before we do that, let's go over all the camps will spawn at the 2-minute mark. The siege giant camp has a 3-minute respawn time, and the bruiser camp has a 4-minute respawn time. Then your boss camp, if your map has a boss camp, not all of the maps have a boss camp. This guy does not come into the game until the 5th minute and has a 5-minute respawn. Now I am not going to be able to take this guy out by myself, but I do want to show you his capabilities. So he hits extremely hard, and when there are two, I did both of them right there. So this big green circle that you saw, that is actually a stun. If you get hit by that, you will be stunned, so be careful. It will cause you to wipe your team if the enemy team decides to come over here and take this boss. So be very careful when deciding when to get the boss. And stay out of the green circle. The second one, the little purple circle here that came up right here. See if I can get him to do it again. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Right here. Right here. There's the green circle. There's the purple circle. Now, if I were to stand in that purple circle, right now, I would actually die. But what it does is it roots you to the ground and deals damage to you over time. Again, another disruptive ability. It's not as bad as the stun is, but still you don't want to stand in it, especially if the enemy team comes over to contest the boss camp and try to steal it from you. If you're rooted to the ground, you might end up getting exploded on the spot because you can't dodge any abilities if you're rooted to the ground. Now, that was interesting. Let's see. Let me grab that. Now, that's basically it as far as your basic objectives. Those are the type of objectives you're going to see on every single map. Sometimes there'll even be two. So there's a boss here and a boss here on this particular map because it's a fairly large map. Smaller maps won't have a boss on it at all. It really depends. Now, beyond these objectives, like I mentioned before, the final objective is the core. The way to win the game is to kill the core. Not by getting the boss, not by getting the bruiser camp, not by getting the siege camp, killing the core. That's it. There's nothing else to it but to kill the core. So, if the enemy team is 5-man down and you have an opening to the core, your team should group and kill the core. That's how you win. When you start doing that more and more often, you will start winning more and more games. And here's a good example of how the bruisers or the siege giants will stand out of the range. The range is right here, so the core could not shoot them, and we had to actually manually come over here and take him out. So again, just keep that in mind. when you are... Oh, hold on. Keep that in mind when you are dealing with the various camps. Where'd he go? There you are, buddy. Hey, how's it going? Hey, come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Aha! I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm just gonna run away from this. I could probably kill her. I just don't want to. So that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your objectives. This is also considered objective. Please don't fight over these. They're in the early game. They're not that important. Yes, the vision is nice. It helps, but that doesn't provide you any experience. A lot of people, a lot of new players especially, will die trying to keep these away from the enemy team, and it's just not necessary. You stupid little whore. Yeah, get out of here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, that's it for this video. So if you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, or if you are a veteran player and there was anything I missed, leave a comment down below. It'll basically help everyone, because this is for new players. We want to help the new players figure out the game as fast as possible. Oh, I didn't quite make it in time. Oh well. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Leave comments down below, questions if you have them. If you haven't subscribed, I am putting out more videos. I'm going to put out a video for... Come on, Stitches, get out of here. I'm put... I just can't win right now. Just can't win. If you haven't subscribed yet and you find these helpful and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button so you'll get the notification whenever I put out a new one. Keep an eye out for those subscriptions or for those new videos. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good rest of your day. Okay?